Hi, fourth graders. Today we're talking about lesson 97, which is about mean, median, range, and mode. New concept starts on page 612 in your math books. Last week we talked about average. Okay, so in lesson 96 we practiced finding average, which meant we would add all the numbers up and then divide by how many numbers we had just added. And another name for average is mean. So today we're going to be calling it the mean, but it means the same thing as average meant. So adding up all the numbers together and then dividing by how many numbers we added. So in example 1, it said find the mean of Ian's 7 game scores. 80, 85, 85, 10, 90, 90, 85. So first we are going to add all the scores up together. I will say if you have a calculator at your house handy, for this lesson you may use your calculator to help you add up the numbers. Okay, so we add up all the numbers together, and if we add them all together, we end up with the number 525. Okay, if we're finding mean, remember it's 2 steps. We add them all up, and then we divide by the number of numbers we added. So we added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers together. So we're going to take this answer, 525, and divide it by 7. Okay, so 525 divided by 7, if I take the 7 into 52, it would go 7 times. Can't quite get an 8. So 7 times 7 is 49. That's a 49. Subtract 49 minus 52 is 3. And then 5 comes down. 7 into 35, I can get 5 of them. And 5 times 7 is 35. I'm running out of space, but if I subtract, I'll end up with 0. So the mean, or the average, of Ian's 7 game scores is 75. Okay, that's the mean, or the average. Okay, continuing on, we're going to talk about, so mean means average, remember that. The median is the next number or word we're going to learn about. The median is of the set of numbers is the middle number when the numbers are arranged in order of size. And if there happens to be 2 middle numbers, then you find the average of those 2. Okay, so middle is median, mean is average. Example 2 says find the median of Ian's 7 game scores. So here we have his game scores once again. Okay, first we're going to put them in order from least to greatest. So the least number would be 10, 80, 85, 85, 85, 90, 90. Okay, so let's put them in order. So we have our 10, 80, 85, another 85, 85, 90, and then 90. And we know since we had 7 scores when we added them up before, we have 7 numbers, we're going to be able to find one in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, this one will be our middle number. So find the number that's in the middle of them all. Okay, and this one right here is in the middle. So the median or middle score is also 85. Okay, notice that the number 10 doesn't affect what the median is. However, a score that's that far out from the other scores is called an outlier. Okay, that 10 is pretty far from all the rest of these numbers. Okay, outliers don't really affect the median. So when you have them in the middle, that doesn't affect the middle number, but it can affect the average. Okay, because he had a score of 10, his average might be lower than it would have been if this was an 80. Okay, so outliers sometimes affect the mean. Okay, so look at, here's an example of an outlier being far away from the other scores. All the rest of them, his 80s, his 85s, his 90s, were right here bunched together. And then the score of 10 was way over here, far away from the rest. It's an outlier. Okay, so we'll move on to range. And now we're on page 614 in your math books. And the range of a set of numbers is the difference between the largest and the smallest. Okay, so mean, again, was another word for average. Median means middle, and now the range is the difference between the largest and the smallest. Okay, so here we are with Ian's 7 game scores again, and this time we are finding the range. So the range is the difference between the largest and the smallest. Now his largest score was 90, and his smallest was 10. So the range would be subtracting those two numbers. So 90 minus 10 is 80. Okay. So remember that his mean was the average, that was 85. The middle number was also 85, and now the range is 80. So notice they're all pretty close to that same area. Okay, the next number we're talking about is mode, and mode means most often. Okay, it's a number in a set of numbers that occurs the most often. So one more time, mean is another word for average. Median is another word for middle. Range is the difference between the largest and the smallest, and mode is most, the one that occurs the most often. Okay, so if we were finding example 4, it's not on here, but example 4 in your math book says, find the mode of Ian's 7 game scores. So which one occurs the most often? Well, here I have 180, 2 85s, and here's my third 85. I have 110 and 290. So which score appears the most? That would be 85 again. Okay, let's go on to lesson practice. Okay, and we're going to do something similar as we did for Ian's scores, except for this time we're finding the scores for Janelle. Her mean, or the average, her median, which is the middle, range is the difference between the two, and the mode, which is occurring the most. So go ahead and practice A together, or on your own, and then pause it and come back. Find the mean, median, mode, and range of Janelle's game points as shown below. Is there an outlier in this set of points? So here are her scores. Go ahead and find the mean, or the average. Okay, now to find the mean, she's adding up all of these scores together. So 50 plus 80 plus 90 plus 85 plus 90 plus 95 plus 90 plus 100. Now again, you can use your calculator if you have one at your house, because those are some big numbers. Okay, so when we add them all up, we find that the answer when they're all added is 680. Then we divide by the number of numbers we added together. So we added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to take 680 and divide it by 8, which gives us 85. So 680 divided by 8. Okay, go ahead and find the median, which again is the middle. Okay, pause and find median. Okay, in order to find the median, first you need to put them in order from the least to the greatest. So you see 50, 80, 90, 85. So my lowest would be 50, then 80, then I'd go 85, 90, 90, another 90, 95, 100. So put them in order. Okay, and then once they're in order, we see this time we have an even number. So I have two numbers in the middle. Luckily, they're both 90s, which tells me that my median is also going to be 90. Okay, median's in the middle. All right, go ahead and find the range, which is the difference between the largest and the smallest. Okay, my largest number is 100. My smallest number is 50. If I'm finding the range, I'm finding the difference between the two. So 100 minus 50 is 50. So her mean was 85, her median was 90, her range was 50, and mode is the number that appears the most often. So looking at her scores, 150, 180, 1, 2, 3 90s, 185, 195, and 100. So her mode is going to be the one that occurs the most, which is number 90. Okay, go ahead and move on to B. Find the mean, median, mode, and range of this set of numbers. So this time I have 31, 28, 31, 30, 25. Go ahead and try to find the mean of those numbers, which also means the average of those numbers. Pause the video and go ahead. Okay, if I'm finding mean, I'm adding them together. And once I add those 5 numbers together, I end up with 125. And then the second step in finding mean or average is to divide. So I'm dividing by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So 125 divided by 5 is 29. So her mean is 29. The median, go ahead and figure out median. Okay, the median, if I put them in order, 25, 28, 30, 31, 31, would be the number that I find in the middle. So once they're in order, I will see that the middle number is 30. So her mean was 29, median is 30. Okay, go find the range, the difference between the largest and the smallest. Okay, remember my largest number is 31. My smallest number is 25. If I subtract the 2, my answer is 6. Okay, and mode is the one that occurs the most often. So looking at those 5 numbers, what number do you have the most? 31. So there you go. Okay, one more. C says, find the median of the test score shown below. Explain how you found your answer. So this time all we have to do is find the median, which is the middle. So go ahead and find the middle and then explain it. Okay, so to find the median, first you need to put them in. I don't know why I did this. First you need to put them in order. So we'll just quickly do it over here. I found the mean instead of the median. 75, 80, 80, 90, 95, and 100. I think I still got it. Okay, if I add those numbers together, or I mean if I find the middle of those numbers, I'm at 75 on this end and 100. I'm just going to find the middle. 80, 95. Now these two are both in the middle, which means I have to find the average of them. So I'm going to add them together and then divide by 2. So 80 plus 90 is 170. And then 170 divided by 2, because they're both in the middle and there's 2 numbers, would be 85. So my median test score would be 85. Even though that's not one of her test scores, it would still be in the middle of the test score she had. So the median is 85. Okay, so you may go ahead and do your reteaching for lesson 97 and the 30 questions for this lesson. And then submit the 30 questions by the end of, well, by Monday. All right, good luck.